All right, y'all, so we are back with some more conspiracy theories and unexplained mysteries. And today we're checking out what they're saying about the James Webb telescope, right? This video is titled, "The James Webb has just found the most horrifying planet in the known universe." We'll be the judge of that. All right, so if you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, join the fam, and hit that like button for more content. Let's check it out. Talking about this with, I think I want to say, was it the Betelgeuse star explosion when we were speaking about that from Neil deGrasse or deGrasse? We were just talking about that, bro. And now see how things come full circle. It's the universe. It's the universe. Wow, talk about being let down. I had such high hopes for Proxima B because we were hearing that one was the most habitable, or one of the most habitable, that has the condition for maybe life to support life. And now to hear that, wow.
However, that site would threaten us with extinction. After all, due to this proximity to the star, the temperature on the planet's day side reaches over 2,500 degrees Celsius. That's enough to melt even a rock, not just a person. And while one side of the planet has boiling oceans, the other has permafrost. The temperature there drops to 200 degrees below zero. Even an attempt to take a breath in this part of the planet will destroy your lungs and cause instant death. Because of these two temperature extremes, scientists call Coret 7b two hells in one. Under such conditions, the water cycle, with the evaporation of water and the formation of rain clouds and precipitation, would also look different on Earth. Severe erosion would destroy solid rocks. They would rise up with water vapor and then fall as stone rain.
Sometimes you forget how good you have it. And these videos put you right back in the right mind frame where I need to be thankful for how good I have it, bro. We could be easily, well, we wouldn't be living on it, but you know what I mean? We could have some of these other conditions and dealing with a lot other things. So that's wow.
Such a storm could fatally injure a person. But there are even more dangerous storms. For example, on the planet WASP 76b. Like Coret 7b, it has an ultra-hot day side and a relatively cold night side. But in this case, these swings form something more terrible than stones. Due to the duality of temperatures between the day and night sides of the exoplanet, violent winds blow on its surface. They transport iron vapor from the hot day side to the cool night side. At the moment of transition, the vapor cools down and turns into drops of iron rain. Imagine if chunks of metal fell from the sky to Earth. In just 1 second under such rain, something like hundreds of knives would pierce the human body. But what could be worse than that? The answer is life on HD 9733b. The temperature on this planet is also relatively high, but the reason for this is not just the proximity to its star, but also how fast the planet revolves around it. HD takes only a little more than 2 days to complete one rotation, with an orbital speed of almost 153 kilometers per second, while Earth's orbital speed is less than 30 kilometers per second. Life on HD would be like a centrifuge ride that went haywire and caught fire. But the scariest thing is that this planet has hurricanes of glass fragments hurtling at a speed of over 8,500 kilometers per hour. Under such conditions, a person would be instantly cut into thin strips as if dropped into a shredder.
Sheesh.
But there is a planet where you can cut yourself just walking around, and that's 55 Cancri E. At first glance, it looks incredibly beautiful and expensive. At its surface,
that depends on what you define as incredibly beautiful. First glance, you're thinking, oh, this has some similarities to Earth. And then as it gets closer, you're like, nah.
It's incredibly beautiful and expensive.
Like a bunch of fires going on that planet right now. Look at that. This looks like what New York and them are dealing with right now. How orange it looks outside from the wildfires from Canada and all that stuff like that. This looks like what
At first glance, it looks incredibly beautiful and expensive, as its surface is covered in diamonds. In a word, 55 Cancri is like millions of Tiffany & Company jewelry stores gathered in one place. But diamonds can become very sharp in the process of erosion and grinding. They're so sharp that they're even used in medicine on Earth, for example, for making scalpels. You'd cut your legs into bloody stumps after just a few steps on such a surface. But 55 Cancri is better known for its ocean. You see, it's formed not from water, but from red-hot lava, which can melt even iron. The same deadly hot conditions prevail on planet Kelt 9b, which, by the way, somewhat resembles our own. As on Earth, it has 4 seasons, except there are 2 summers and 2 winters, each lasting only 9 hours. If such drastic weather changes suddenly appeared on our planet,
9 hours? Can you imagine? Every night, I gotta put on a jacket. It's time to put on the shorts. 9 hours is up, we gotta put on the jacket. No, it's no way.
Somewhat resembles our own. As on Earth, it has 4 seasons, except there are 2 summers and 2 winters, each lasting only 9 hours. If such drastic weather changes suddenly appeared on our planet, the human body would not be able to quickly adapt to such sharp temperature fluctuations. Even changes in climatic and time zones after a long flight can result in a headache and fever. In short seasons, like on Kelt 9b, could even be fatal. But the list of planets that seek to kill you doesn't end there. Just this year, the James Webb Space Telescope detected a raging dust storm on planet VHS 1256b. In addition, the dust particles are silicates. These are something like small grains consisting of silicon and oxygen. So this storm is not like our terrestrial ones, but something more like a hot, rocky fog. If you were to encounter such rough weather, you'd get numerous burns and bruises. But we shouldn't hurry to rejoice that our planet has no such threats. After all, the ozone layer won't protect us forever. So we can't be sure humanity won't face another mass extinction, as has happened before. Scientists have long struggled to understand what could have triggered the Ordovician-Silurian extinction event, which occurred about 445 million years ago. It's among the top 3 in terms of the number of extinct species. It's the second largest mass extinction event, estimated to have killed the most living organisms. In the course of studies, it turned out that the secret of the Ordovician-Silurian extinction event's success lies in ancient geological deposits. In the deposits of that period, archaeologists have found a lot of a special kind of iron formed by interaction with gamma radiation. Scientists say that it probably happened like this. 6,000 light years from Earth, a 10-second hypernova explosion occurred, but even such a short time was enough for gamma radiation from the explosion of a supermassive star to affect Earth's ozone layer. At the moment it hit, the ozone layer became twice as thin, and when the planet's protection was reduced, all life on Earth was exposed to intense ultraviolet radiation. That space emission killed 85% of marine species.
Dang.
And that scenario may repeat itself, but this time it'll affect us. After all,
So with that information, with us knowing that information, we should have something. I know we probably, this is probably a long shot, but can we develop some type of suit? Listen to me sound like a superhero, wanting to be a superhero. Some type of suit that could, withstand the radiation. Can we develop something like that? Maybe are scientists working on that? Are we even trying? That's my question. Are we even trying? Knowing that this is a possibility that any given moment, one of these stars can explode and emit this radiation that could destroy our ozone, that could potentially harm us or destroy us or cause us to go extinct. I think that should push itself to the front of the importance list. I'm just saying.
The ozone layer is
Just
gradually becoming depleted, and not only air emissions are to blame for this. Every launch of a rocket or satellite into space is slowly damaging the planet's ozone layer, creating holes in it. And that will make it easier for distant gamma rays to penetrate to Earth's surface.
I didn't know that.
And for those relatively close to us to completely destroy the ozone layer. These bursts usually occur when black holes or neutron stars collide. Then, their magnetic fields join together and emit giant jets of energetic particles and photons. If a person gets anywhere near an object that emits gamma rays, they'll be instantly burned to a crisp. But even at great distances, such rays are capable of ionizing atoms and molecules. That is, removing electrons from them and breaking chemical bonds. In other words, if that burst reaches Earth and irradiates a person, their DNA will be damaged. This may even cause mutations and cell death. Nowadays, astronomers detect about one such radiation burst per day, and those are just the ones visible to our modern devices. But there is a particular space mission you can notice on your own without any equipment. But you won't be able to enjoy the sight for long. I'm talking about supernova explosions. When giant stars die in powerful explosions called supernovae, they temporarily become one of the brightest objects in the universe. One supernova can outshine the combined light of hundreds of billions of stars. If something similar happened within our solar system or relatively close to it, such a bright light would damage your eyes. After such an event, part of the world's population would suffer from cataracts and the rest would go blind. How much worse could it get? Well, that's not all. Even supernova explosions aren't as powerful as gamma.
Well, before we go forward, I'm still tripping on the rockets launching damages each time we launch one into outer space, damages the ozone layer a little bit. I didn't know that. Call me ignorant, but I didn't know that. You see me champion all these. Let's build more. Let's put the money out to build more. Hey, y'all should have told me, slow down, L. Slow down. You don't want to destroy the ozone. I would have backed off if I'd have knew that information. Lesson learned, I know now. You know what I mean?
Radiation from magnetars. This is a type of neutron star with an ultra-powerful magnetic field that's 1,000 times stronger than your average neutron star and about 1 trillion times stronger than Earth's. Magnetars, like supernovae, can destroy our planet's ozone layer, and they'll need only a few milliseconds for that. That's how long their bursts last. But this is more than enough time for them to release an enormous amount of energy. If a person ventured closer to a magnetar than about 1,000 kilometers, the magnetic field of the burst would tear away the electrons from the atoms in the human body. A person would end up converted into a cloud of monatomic ions, that is, single atoms without electrons. But while we're thinking over hypothetical scenarios with distant objects, outer space already has phenomena that are gradually destroying us right now. We all know that most conspiracy theories were invented by people who are far from science and adequate reality as well. But after NASA revealed some details about the Apollo 8 mission, there was a reason to wonder, could the moon missions really be faked? You see, more than half a century ago, American scientists detected incredibly intense radiation relatively close to Earth. At first, they thought they had uncovered secret Soviet nuclear tests, but then it turned out this radiation had existed near our planet all along. In 1958, astrophysicist James Van Allen determined that Earth is surrounded by 2 radiation belts. They look like giant donuts, and our planet is, so to say, in their hole. These belts result from Earth's magnetic field acting like a magnetic trap. It holds solar wind particles together and accelerates them within the belts almost to the speed of light. The sizes of these donuts vary depending on solar activity. The inner belt begins at an altitude of 1,600 kilometers above Earth and according to various sources, extends up to about 9,600 to 13,000 kilometers. Likewise, the range of the outer belt varies from 13,500 or 19,000 kilometers to almost 40,000. And that's fairly close to us, so particles falling out of the radiation belts can affect the chemical composition of Earth's atmosphere. Besides, during geomagnetic...
See that? It's just, look at that. Just orbiting around us or going around us, just waiting for an opportunity to get in. And here we are giving them an opportunity by every rocket we launch into space. When you know, I didn't know before. I know now, man. And now I see things a little bit, each time, each thing we learn or I learn, I see things a little bit more clearer and differently, man. Sheesh.
Chemical composition of Earth's atmosphere. Besides, during geomagnetic space storms, the density and energy of these radiation donuts particles may increase and pose a threat to terrestrial technologies. But the ones who can directly experience the belt's pernicious influence are, of course, astronauts. So, NASA's mission trajectory has always been designed to bypass these belts. After all, this radiation is even more harmful to humans than X-rays.
Right.
The extent of damage to...
So that makes these trips we see them take, that makes it even more dangerous that I didn't know, more dangerous that they have to deal with that I didn't know about. Like, fam, like and pay some respect to some of these astronauts if you get a chance to see one and be in their presence, man. Just tell them thank you. You don't know what they went through, bro. Imagine yourself being on some type of spacecraft going into outer space and all of these things you got to get through to survive. Yeah, man, please.
People may vary anywhere from 0 to a fatal outcome. Therefore, when it was announced that the astronauts of the Apollo 8 mission were the first to pass through these Van Allen belts, conspiracy theorists immediately stated that the flight had been faked, because such a serious organization couldn't possibly be so indifferent to the lives of its employees. And that's when it became difficult for society to choose the acceptable truth. Either NASA is completely inhumane, but they don't lie about orbital flights and landing on the moon, or all scientific discoveries are fiction, but at the same time, NASA doesn't jeopardize human lives. The organization immediately stated that the crew had been fully provided with all protective equipment, and the module was covered with heavy-duty materials, including radiation-blocking ones. But with all this, NASA admits it has underestimated the level of danger in low and medium Earth orbits, but is willing to spend more money on building more heavily shielded spacecraft. Let's just hope these guys are fully aware of their actions. Alas, threats from space don't end there. And you don't even need to approach the Van Allen belts to become their victim. In addition, everyone can predict the approach of the next space hazard. First, people in the northern latitudes will observe an astonishingly beautiful aurora. At the same moment, you'll notice that the internet's dead slow. Then all mobile network subscribers won't have service. And after that, all the electronics will start to spark and break down, including the cell phone in your hand. All this will mean that right at that moment, the sun will be experiencing massive plasma emissions, causing elevated radiation levels on Earth's surface. Solar flares are usually emitted from the star's darker regions, called spots, because the magnetic field strength is higher there. Now let's take a look at one of the latest images of the sun. As you can see, it has plenty of dark spots, so we'll have to endure a lot of flares. The most powerful of them, X-class flares, occur once every 10 years. The most recent was in 2003. It was so powerful that it overloaded the sensors measuring it. It even caused radio blackouts on Earth and space satellites for a few moments. I think it's easy to calculate when the next such powerful flare will happen. So far, the ozone layer is still protecting us from the strong impact of these cosmic emissions. But if it were damaged even more than it is now, a person would be exposed to so much radiation that they'd get skin cancer. But although such phenomena are hazardous for us, there's an object whose radiation is so intense that it can harm not only people, but also the surrounding stars and planets. It's the ultimate galaxy killer. Can you hear that? No, it's not the sound of the underworld or Pink Floyd's Echoes song. That's what the most hazardous object in space sounds like. A black hole. This particular one is over 200 million light years away at the center of the Perseus galaxy cluster. It appears we don't know much about black holes. All we know for sure is that they consume and destroy everything around, whether it's a human being whom it'll stretch out like spaghetti, or an entire galaxy with all the planets and stars in it. But as it turns out, that's not all they can do. Finnish scientists have recently discovered that some black holes can behave very unpredictably. For example, the black hole Maxi J1820+070, detected by astronomers, somehow lies on its side. And it's still unclear what made it turn like that. This black hole is in a binary system, meaning it exists next to another object, a companion star which is gradually being consumed by it. Typically, in space systems where small objects rotate around a massive central body, their rotation axes must coincide. But not in the case of Maxi J1820. And these are not the last spontaneous tricks of black holes. For example, in 2020, a drifting black hole was found, though we previously thought they didn't move. This means we know very little about these bloodthirsty space monsters. Scientists continue to study Maxi J1820+070 because it's still unknown how the hole's properties are affected by its inclination. Perhaps this way, it can function more efficiently and capture more alien material, or even be able to release emissions over longer distances. It would have been a disaster for humankind. And to our dismay, over the past 30 years, observations with the Hubble Space Telescope have shown that all galaxies have black holes at their centers, and ours is no exception. A black hole called Sagittarius A star is located at the very center of our Milky Way. It's
more than one there. I think we got multiple at the center of our galaxy.
Mass is millions of times that of our sun. So far, it's dormant and only occasionally absorbs gas or dust. But we can expect anything from it, given that the holes can bend and move. If such a black hole suddenly bursts into our solar system, its radiation will be so intense that you'll die right away. You won't even make it to the point where you start to get twisted and sucked into the black abyss. If you still think all these cosmic...
Instantly gone, man. That's more stuff to even worry about, man. Instantly. You don't even get a chance to see yourself going towards and be like, no, like see yourself going towards the black hole. No, instantly you're done.
Rays are too far away to affect a person. Tell me why your doctor can't comprehensively answer why you have constant headaches. Why do you often have eye irritation and sudden fatigue out of the blue? How many times did you get sick this year? Does it happen more often than in previous years? If you already feel that our ozone layer is getting increasingly worse at protecting our planet from space radiation, write in the comments.
Something to think about, man. See what I mean? Bro, that is insane. And like I said, I leave it to us humans. Leave it to us. We already got to worry about the different gases surrounding. How about leave it to us to just slowly start deteriorating the ozone layer ourselves? Huh? How can we speed up the process? Like, oh my goodness. And here I was just cheering them on. Like, come on, man. Let's send more stuff out there. Pump my brakes. And y'all remind me every time you see me get hyped, because I know I'll forget. My mind is... Yeah, I'm forgetful. So I'll forget and be back to championing all these people going out and all these space missions and different things. And speaking of space missions, now I see why some people, I ain't gonna say all people, but some people have the theory about the space mission being fake, the mission to the moon being fake. Because some people didn't believe that NASA would really put their people in jeopardy like that. So I never knew that. Interesting though, interesting. Listen, y'all get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know what you thought of this video. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Until next one, I'm gone. Peace.